Okay, so where'd you play your golf?
I've just joined Bletchley,
Okay.
but a flexible member, not like a full 7 day. So
Where were you before?
just anywhere really, just pay and play. Yeah.
All right.
So
Official handicap?
about 12.7, 12.7.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wildingham, Pedham in Swanley, like everywhere really.
Yeah.
Anywhere I can.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Where would you say your strengths are?
I would say I'm 50 in, sort of down that. When I get to the top of the bag,
yeah,
that's when it starts getting a bit wayward.
Okay. Short game wise?
Pretty good, but I just need to practice more.
Yeah?
Yeah. Sort of consistency.
Well, part of today's discussion is on the wedge side of things and where we want the lofts and how they tie in with the iron choice and stuff.
Yeah.
What we want you to do initially is get yourself moving.
Yeah.
Grab some at 7 iron, 8 iron.
Yeah.
Use the yellow balls that I've laid out for you there.
Yeah. Okay.
Get yourself warmed up. I'm going to take 1 or 2 measurements off your current clubs, get a feel for the spec as they are at this moment in time, so that obviously in relation to the performance I see, I can sort of deduce what sort of player you are and where we need to go. Okay. Not much. This particular head, not much I know about it. It looks like it's one of these head-only supply that's been put together by a club fitter, a club builder. Let's see where it is in terms of balance and length and loft lie and so forth. Like I said, I don't know its merits. It looks a nicely finished head.
It feels lovely.
You'd like to think it's Japanese based on the name Tacoma, but looks like a straightforward Japanese forged design. It looks nice enough. I don't, like I said, we'll find out its merits. Yeah. Yeah. But get yourself moving.
Yeah. No worries.
The first thing that's obvious is, I don't know if they specified it when you got them, but quite long.
Inch longer.
Inch longer. Told, exactly that. Yeah, 38 and a half.
Standard, like no upright or flat.
Well, 6 iron measures about 1.5 degrees flat, which sort of offset the length change in many respects, because it's like if you had a 4 iron, 4 iron's 1 inch longer than a 6 iron, but the lie angle of a 4 iron is flatter than the lie of a 6. Yeah. So it's definitely a little bit flatter, what I see on the 6 iron anyway, a little bit flatter, but it is definitely 1 inch longer. The interesting thing about it, the grips are like a Golf Pride multi-compound copy. Yeah. I fancy it's a relatively heavy grip.
That's what I thought.
It's
quite heavy.
It's quite thick. When I measured the 6 iron, I was expecting quite a hefty balance for that 1 inch longer, because a lot of these sort of Japanese forged heads are relatively heavy. Yeah. They're sort of more based on their domestic spec, and they shorter length requires more head weight and so forth. But actually, in balance terms, the 6 iron's only around about D2.5, which I see as quite a light swing weight for its length. Okay. The only way I can think what's taking the edge off that balance is just the fact that the grip weight is relatively heavy, and it's sort of counterbalanced it out a little bit here. Because that does look on paper quite a light swing weight for its length. Right. If you based it on a standard head weight. Okay. Yeah? All right. Relatively generous loft on the pitching wedge, 47.
I thought that.
That's an old school.
Bit of a gap. Between that and the 9.
Is there? Right. Because 47. You see it in relation to the 6 iron. The 6 iron's at 28. Yeah. For the nature of this head, like a player's forged design, you'd expect the loft to be relatively conservative.
It's supposed to be 45.
Yeah, well,
That's
it is measuring 47, and it's 28 on 6, which is relatively strong for this type of design.
Yeah.
So you'd say somewhere something's got to give. There's got to be quite a gap somewhere in order to achieve from 28 to 47.
Definitely noticed that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But it is quite weak as a loft compared, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a hair flatter than standard as well.
It states it should be 45 degrees, the pitching wedge.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Again, you're 1 inch longer there. And then what do we do beyond that? So you go straight to the 54 from there?
Yeah, I'm missing a 50 at the minute.
Again, they're a bit different, aren't they? I sense you probably sourced these in a different fashion here.
Got fitted for these and an iron set, but I got the iron set and I just hated the look of them, hated the feel of them. So
Where'd you get these ones from then?
So I actually got them fitted at.
Right. Okay.
But he talked me into getting a more forgiving head, and when I got them and played with them, I just hated them. Hated the look of them, hated the feel of them. Hence why I bought these.
There is, I mean, there's a little bit of disparity in the length side of things here.
Yeah.
In you've got, in essence, at least 1.5 inches between your pitching wedge and your gap. You should have about a 1/4 inch difference between there. So this is more closer to standard length.
Yeah. I feel like they're too short for me when I use them.
Yeah, I would expect this to probably, in relation to where a standard length pitching wedge was, standard length would be 35.5 on a gap wedge. So even this is actually more, say, short of standard, where you've gone long on the other. Then you've got quite a variance between pitching wedge and gap wedge on the loft.
Okay.
Yeah? If you count that as your gap wedge, obviously as a club.
Well, normally I had a 50 with the set, and obviously I got rid of them, so that's why I'm missing a 50 at the minute.
But even on that basis, say 35.25 on this at standard length. If it was 1 inch longer, it would be 36.25. Actually, to be fair, even that comes across a little bit flatter. About 1 degree flat on that 54. That's pretty much true to spec 58. It's about 1/2 degree more lofted on your 54. And it's actually gone a little bit shorter. It's about a 1/4 inch difference between the two, which is the right relationship between the pair. But obviously considerably shorter. Sort of well matched between the two of them.
Yeah.
But not necessarily falling in with what you've done elsewhere.
Yeah.
I'd have to say, on face value, 1 inch long is a lot of shaft.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Lots of shaft.
I'm normally 1/2 inch longer when I've been fitted before.
Yeah, maybe a hair longer, but it won't be a massive amount, I fancy. We'll play around with different lengths and see how your strike and your performance is, based on what I give you. I think what we'll do initially, we're going to get some 6-iron numbers, get a feel for what's going on, look at the striking of it,
Yeah.
look at the efficiency, flight profile, and go from there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all right. So if you just, there's your 6 iron. I'll take that back off you.
There you go.
Target line is as you see it on the screen there, Simon.
Same balls, these yellow ones?
No, we're going to introduce. What ball do you normally use anyway?
I'm using a, oh God, forgotten. Tour response at the minute, but I'm that or a TP5.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a standard Pro V1 on the basis that it's a softer of the two Titleist balls. These are RCT versions, so that in conjunction with TrackMan, it enables you to see spin very accurately for indoor use.
Oh, that's fine.
There we go. And as I said, target lines as you see it.
Yep.
Somewhere inside this T mark, about half the way down the mat line would be good. Somewhere where you are now.
Yep.
Let's get half a dozen shots or so, see what's going on.
Okie doke.
Yeah. That sounded so much better, that one. That was a little bit better. Yeah?
A couple of heavy ones.
Yeah, a little bit high on the head, a little bit, you know, a little bit of ground, but that was more on it. That was. Good strike, a little bit left. But certainly last two, different sort of number.
Yeah, just feel it. That's what I like, these heads. You just know when you've hit a bad one or a good one.
I would classify that as just an almost shot, yeah? Lost a little bit of it compared, but a little bit better than the first two. Good move. Should be good, that. Okay. I think when it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is it's, you know, we're talking about the base lofts. It's quite interesting, these two numbers here. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yes, they're a fraction left. Therefore, we brought the flight down because it's a little bit stronger dynamically.
Yeah.
But where, even with that in mind, when you look at, let's just change that to carry. When you look at that number there and you say, right, 13, 7 and 4, 3, 80 feet for where the ball speed is, that's pretty damn low.
Yeah.
And similarly here, you got, well, 15, 4 and 4, 4, slightly more flight. But still, with that ball speed in mind, I'd expect a fair bit more height.
Okay.
So one thing you will say, based on the 28-degree aloft on there, you're certainly not one of these guys who's weak dynamically, offering a lot more loft, a lot more spin,
Yeah.
When it's good, it's very much that stronger dynamic loft, and therefore you certainly wouldn't want it any lower. That's what I will say. Yeah. But it does also tell you that when you do strike these, the performance is reasonably good. What I'm going to do is just tidy these up. Base our numbers. I'm going to keep that one because it was an okay hit. It was almost the same sort of level of ball speed, but the reason I want to keep that, it sort of offsets that really as well.
Yep.
A couple of lefts, one right. So you get more of an overall impression of where that performance is. 14.744 on the spin, 84 feet. Like I said, I wouldn't want the loft any stronger.
No.
28, I think it's hair strong for what you need in many respects.
Okay.
In length terms, we know we've got a 1 inch long club. We know we've got a relatively light balance. I think that's a byproduct of that grip weight. And also that shaft, that tour light, is a relatively light balance, which again contributes to a lighter swing weight. Yeah? You put something in there, like, give you an example, a comparison, dynamic gold in there. That would be much heavier in balance as well. You gain weight, but also the balance point of that shaft as a contribution to the balance. But it gives me a feel for how those heads perform.
Yeah.
Yeah? And where that loft, the performance in relation to the loft you got on it.
Yeah.
Yeah? What I want to do is really, in terms of doing some testing on shafts and shaft lengths, types, I've got to pick a head that I see as a comparable head of loft.
Yep.
I'm going to pick a Srixon ZX7 MKII, only because the loft is exactly that same loft of 28. It's a player's forged head.
Yeah.
It's not far removed from what you've got.
Yeah, okay.
So that probably is a good test head for us.
Yep.
Yeah?
No worries.
Okay, so there's that Srixon head, exactly the same loft as you've got here. Shaft, I've reined in the length a little bit here, more your 1/2 inch long, or just around about that mark. Giving you a little bit more hair, more weight, a little bit more stability over and above what you've got. Yeah?
Yep. There you go.
So this is a Modus 105. And it's a ZX7.
Yeah, let's take just the so the 525 head, so I just try and keep it nice and simple. That way we can just focus on actually building the shards and not try too much in that head. So don't get alarmed if I sort of after a couple of shots of another one.
That sounded quite nice. A little bit left, but sounded like a good contact.
Once you get double figures, it's psychological. You're not coming back from that. I used to play Cobra rescue. Same thing with the rescue shape. Don't like boxing it. Just a little bit heavy, so it lift it a little bit too.
Fair bit open. How's that feel to swing?
Feels a lot lighter than them, yeah.
I think it's more just your
more
perception.
in the head?
It's not though.
No?
It's not.
Yeah.
The balance is at least as heavy on that as the swing weight to yours.
Yeah.
But I think it's more the comfort of that length. It feels probably a little bit better to stand over that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's a weird one because it's too middle lane and being horrific. Yeah. But it's the nicest part of the club to hit. Yeah, so it feels that. That's why I
what I find quite interesting, I mean, there's a couple of lefts there which should really dramatically bring the flight down. But that flight is more comparable to what you get off yours when it's actually straighter, which means that if you were to find a slightly more neutral face angle, so if your path here is 2.8, on average it's just short of 2 degrees out to in, but you've got a minus here as well, so the face is slightly close to that path, which obviously is going to create a much stronger loft at impact. But even then, it's no lower as a performance compared to yours that were straighter. So I think hit a couple more. Let's see if we can see 1 or 2 with a slightly better face angle, and it'll tell us where the difference in flight is. Yeah. Okay. But I definitely think we've got to take the length down a little bit. I think 1 inch is quite excessive. Particularly as you're carrying that spec over into longer irons, it's not going to get any easier, is it? No.
That's what you say. From 5 and 4, I feel like I'm just too inconsistent with them. But from 6 down, I feel I'm a bit more,
Well, when you get to sort of 8 iron territory, it's 1 inch longer. You don't mind it, do you? It's like swinging a 6 iron in length terms, but or conventional 6 iron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's although that wasn't necessarily you at your very best strike-wise, even so, it's you can see a little bit gain in launch and spin. Yeah?
Yeah.
I reckon the intention on those heads of yours, I don't think that was ever intended to be 28 degrees. I fancy, based on where the loft on the wedge is as well, that the loft on that 6 was more the sort of 29, 30 degree, or certainly would perform better with that sort of loft. How's that shaft feel?
Yeah.
I gave you a fair bit of shaft there. That's a Modus 105, but in an X.
Right, okay.
You know, you're quite hard in transition. You've got quite a fast tempo. Your speed is relatively decent. You move the longer club quicker. That's the one thing. When you look at this, you're 87 as opposed to just short of 86. So the speed has generally got a little bit better. But when you say that strike against that strike, if you look at it that way, you can definitely see that you've got more consistent strike point on that. Yeah? Let's just play around with shafts and see where it gets to.
Yeah, I've had the 120s before, and I really like those ones.
Yeah, and that's probably
feel a lot
quite a
smoother.
responsive. Yeah, it's quite a responsive feeling. The profile of that shaft is quite soft through mid section and butt section of that.
Yeah.
So it comes across quite a pliable feeling almost. You know, it's not a harsh feeling, is it?
Yeah. Whereas I had the Project X before.
That's the other way, completely other end of the spectrum, like dead.
Yeah. Compared to the 120.
Yeah, very much. Absolute opposites, poles apart. Project X really butt stiff.
Yeah.
Frequency is very stiff. Whereas Modus, probably what you say, stable where you want it. It's stable in the tip section, softer in the mid. So it's not a high flight in shaft, the 120. I always think it makes for a good wedge shaft. If someone's moving away from, say, dynamic gold, 120 is a good start point because it's got the characteristics of a dynamic gold with a little bit more efficiency, with a little bit less weight.
Yeah.
But as a wedge shaft, it's got that carries over that tip stable, a little bit softer in the butt section, and makes for a good wedge shaft. Yeah. But we can try the 120 actually. About good comparison if you enjoyed it before. Yeah. In terms of weight, from what I just gave you and what this is now, you're probably looking at about 5-6 gram change.
Oh, okay.
The 105 and 120 is a bit of a misnomer.
Yeah.
The 120 is actually lighter than 120, and the 105 is heavier than 105.
Oh, okay.
Adds up to, and obviously the weight gets increases as the flex increases. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's not masses. It's slightly different change in feel.
Yeah.
This feels actually softer than the 105 in the same flex.
Okay.
Yeah. Bit heavy. Swing wise it looked neutral. Yeah. Path and face very neutral there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see how that pans out. But
Knuckles in anyway, and it falls away, but then you've got all the trees and stuff like that. The mist there at every like every green is definitely short. But
that probably feels just a little bit more head heavy.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Yeah.
Because the balance point of the two shafts
Yeah.
is what's changed there. This is let's say a more tip heavy shaft, which has contributed to the head feeling a bit heavier.
Yeah.
Whereas the previous one is a bit more centrally
'cause
balanced.
said the head felt lighter, but you said it's exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
just that
Feel that head
the
a bit
effect
more.
of the shaft balance and the impact on the way it swings. Yeah. That was a little bit more,
Right.
a little bit more promising in contact terms. That.
So this basically
That's the one where as you move down that way rather than giving you one position up there.
yeah, I'm saying right, at least
And that's where you either sort of do get down and sort of squeeze a bit heavy, or unfortunately push forward to give you that room and you get the heel of the club and push it out there.
You'll deal with it from there because your irons and your wedges will
well, it's better, it's not also in the shot, so both got but
That sounded really good on strike.
Yeah, it felt lovely.
Yeah. One of your better numbers. Yeah. Really efficient ball speed. Up until that point, what I sensed was that in terms of direction, there was sort of less left or right dispersion. Overall, if you look at where your lines are, your path was 1 degree out to in with a face angle that's a smidge smaller number than that. So strike point again, better consistent strike point. I'd still rather see it a little bit lower on the head,
Right.
but still in relation to the longer club, the strike point's a little bit more central.
Yeah.
The only real difference I would say is here you look a little bit, just in face angle terms, there's less variance going on in face angle. There was more here. Yeah,
the
you're looking
105.
around about a 5 degree range of face angle across those shots. And here you're looking at less than 4, it's more sort of 3.5 between the two. Just looks a bit straighter. Certainly the last strike impressed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much up with the best that you gave with your own.
Yeah.
Where you're at a slight advantage with your own, when it works because you brought more speed to it with that longer shaft.
Yeah.
But it's, for me, maybe at times a little bit more hit and miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see that from the strike points. It's a bit steadier.
Yeah.
What would you say feels the better shaft of the two that I gave you so far?
This one.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like the feeling of that head a bit more.
Yeah. I think you controlled the face angle fractionally better.
Better
The last
as well.
strike was a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah? So it's around about 16 launch, 4.4 on a spin. Look at your comparable. In fact, you look at how similar those are there. Yours just launches a hair lower. Here's about half degree higher off a similar spin. 13.7, yeah. But I said, based on that alone, it's almost like yours with maybe a degree more loft might be better again, just to make it, put it in a flight window that's a bit better. But yeah, a couple more with that, and I'll pick another shaft out. Good swing. Not quite the contact, but. Now I know you had Project X a little while ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one of the more up-to-date versions. This is the IO, so it's a more mid-profile type of shaft. It shouldn't feel as harsh as your previous rendition. I've got it at a very similar weight here to what you had on the previous, on that. Yeah?
Yep.
Maybe a little bit lighter, but.
Or even saying that. Well, more like that, more than.
Thank you.
I take on board what you said. That felt a little bit better.
Yeah.
Still would like to see maybe a little bit more strike, a little bit more efficiency. Strike point overall was a consistent strike point, but not necessarily as good as it could be.
Yeah.
A little bit high on the head still.
Okay.
Yeah. That launched. Wow. Very interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one because at no point have you found a launch and spin like that. And the LS version, obviously stronger in the tip, and here is more that mid-profile, mid-flight type of deal. But that's quite a significant change in launch and spin there. I'd rather see it toned down a little bit from what that number is anyway.
Yeah.
Fat. That was a good move. That must have felt good.
Yeah, that felt lovely.
Yeah. Very, very similar to that first one. Nice contact on that. But that significantly increases the launch. I mean, dramatically.
Too much, you think?
Almost to the point. I mean, it's not like the spin's high.
Yeah.
I don't mind that spin if it was off of a stronger initial launch. But it's sort of genuinely, you can ignore that one.
Yeah.
You probably enjoyed the contact.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Felt lovely.
There's your contact point. It's a relative, but you see, look, 19 and 5. I don't mind the 5 if it's at 16 and a half, 17, but you sort of middle ground really. If it was say 17 launch and no more than say high 4000s, sort of that sort of territory.
Yeah.
Low that 5000 mark. I say if the launch was a little bit stronger from the outset, but that is a genuinely higher launching shaft. Done what it's, I suppose, it's done what it says on the can, really.
No good.
It is supposed to be the slightly higher launching version, and it's done. I don't mind it on strike, but I just think it might be almost too much help in the shaft itself.
Okay.
Been around a while, this shaft.
Right.
Nippon 1050. Weight-wise, short of the 110. More the feeling of the 120, like a lighter version of it, if you want to put it that way. Yeah.
I mean, this has the potential to be the best because you've got the most out of it. Strike with it. Yes.
Still maintaining that slightly longer than standard length here. I haven't changed that at all, yeah? Interesting number. Didn't sound like your best strike, but that's a better miss.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Didn't feel as good as the good runs. I think.
No, but it was a good miss.
But still.
There wasn't a dramatic drop off on ball speed. You move it a little bit quicker. Angle attack was a bit shallow, but you actually retained the spin on it, considering the contact as well.
Okay.
That's why I like the consistency of shape. You know, you can get it a bit better. Yeah. It just looks like it delivers on the same line. Gives you that shape. Delivering on a good line, those. Yeah. Just do it.
A little bit chunky, that one.
Yeah.
Bit toe side. Probably comes across a little bit like the 120. A little bit,
Yeah.
you know, a little bit more responsive.
Yeah.
Hasn't got
Yeah,
a
the
harsh.
head feels a bit heavy.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. Yeah, more of what you had on that 120.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first two looked, for me, quite promising. Like I said, good miss, decent strike on the second one. Try it, hit a few more.
Yep.
A little bit more cross and open on that one.
Yeah.
Very much. That's more hit and miss.
Yeah.
That was an incredibly good contact.
Yeah, that felt the best one out of the lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that was properly hit. Flight's nice there. Flight is nice. Ball speed, one of your fastest ball speeds, 124. It's a little bit more hit and miss.
Yeah.
Just want to get you back to that.
Yep.
Take you back to the 120. Just so you've got a direct comparison of those two. Wasn't a bad feeling, I don't doubt.
No.
Yeah, no, it's not that. It's just literally if you that's how hard going through. Yeah, just think of that. Don't need to reach.
Thank you.
To be fair, you get moved a little bit front. I think
This end was, if I drive it all well,
No, left.
most, but now that I know that
Would you say that's in your locker?
Yeah.
Good strong
Never
strike,
used to
but
be.
left.
I used to be always right. But
Yeah,
now I
good
feel
strong.
like-
I mean, the path, all it is amounts
Yeah.
to is it's not like it's not a hook by the definition of what a hook is
No.
or a draw. It's path that way, and you just slightly get closed on the face. It
Yeah.
stays left, you know. Again, can't fault the contact on that though.
No.
This is what we've done thus far with the Modus 120. It's not sprayed about the face. The last one was a little bit more central on the head, a little bit lower down on the head.
Yeah.
It's probably only that. You can see what you did there. You've hit that heavy,
Yeah.
pure and simple. Yeah.
all the way through the shot. If there's been any tendency today with yours and all the others, it's just to collapse yourself forward.
but that's what I had to have it.
A couple more.
Yep.
Couple more. Because this is probably the one that you enjoyed the feeling of more.
Yeah, and you can see from the strike much more middle. Just where you stayed up, you didn't get through it, so your hands just slightly got a bit out.
It's always going to be, if it went up, it was going to be a couple of yards. But that
What I think it was going to be like,
there's so good opportunities like that. They're never going to jump.
That's quite nice.
Yep.
Only a hair open. Just brought the flight up a little bit, but you can't fault the contact again.
my dad's like, I've tried to explain to my dad for years, you shouldn't play one grab with that. But he is a massive cat. He always plays Callaway. So, he's going to be like, oh, I want that. But I've always been that way.
Yeah, the way I would see this, I mean, you're not a robot. You're not a robot.
Yeah.
But you sort of classify these here as your misses, these here as your better strikes.
It's there, it's just that consistency of
It was a toss-up, really. If you think about that Modus 105 in orange,
Yeah.
that was pretty good front to back, wasn't it?
Very good.
There are some nice strikes here with that shaft. These are your lesser shots. You sort of almost can dismiss the other one was very much a more hit and miss performance. The white ones were your own. I mean, it's all let down by that one down the bottom anyway.
Yeah.
But you look at that and that, you can sort of dismiss the 105. You definitely got too much flight off that IO,
Yeah.
the Project X IO shaft.
3 on.
But I'm not going to dismiss that 105
No.
here, because actually on reflection, the front to back, it wasn't bad, was
Yeah.
it?
No, that's good.
It's almost like, let's compare that again with
Yep.
with that.
With this.
Yeah?
Yep.
Not saying, I mean, there it probably wins in feeling. You enjoy the feeling of that shaft. But
Maybe because I've had it before. And it's in my head, probably.
We have some options in that.
It's almost like we've discarded the 105 too early, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's just where you drop down and catch the ground just sort of, so yeah, it's just your spine angle going too far forward. Much more solid for it.
Rather than 100. So,
Doing the same as what that does, but keeping
way
your
down.
So when it does get windy,
Mm.
Yeah.
And when it's dry, you just want to chase it down there.
yeah, there are some courses like,
The gut feeling I get is that you generally strike the 120 better. You know, the sound of the strike with the 120 off the head, you can hear is a more solid strike to it on a shot-to-shot basis. If you look at your better shots, the blues here sort of outweigh the best of the orange. The miss is a reasonable miss on it as well. I think it's safe territory.
Yeah.
That was a 120X. It didn't feel extra. It didn't feel overly stout, did it?
No. Oh, that's the X.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. They
Yeah.
frequency very soft
Yeah.
for their flex.
Yeah.
By the nature of the profile, it's very stable in the tip,
Yeah.
much softer in the mid to butt section, and for where your speed and tempo is, it's something is very manageable for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like hard work at all.
No.
Comes with an extra bit of weight for that flex. It probably coming in around about, I don't know, 118 gram-ish type sort of territory.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think there were more good strikes with that, and
Yeah.
the misses were a little bit better, more than anything else. Yeah.
Couple more with this.
You
Couple
can,
more,
you
just to
can.
see.
My gut feeling is that the
Yeah.
strike, just on my ear, the strike point,
Yeah.
it doesn't sound as good as it did on the 120. The strike overall is a bit better with the 120. The average ball speed is better with the 120. Yeah, it's there again, you
Yeah.
see.
Sounds totally different. No.
The average ball speed is getting towards 2.5 miles an hour quicker on the 120 as an average ball speed.
Yeah.
And that tells you
Yeah.
there's a little bit more quality to it. Yeah? Now, this is dependent on how you want to take this. Do we want to pursue heads as a comparison?
Definitely,
It's very,
yeah.
very tricky for me, obviously, to give you a number. I, in principle, build yours, rein the length in, build it with the 120,
Yeah.
fine tune on loft, 29 base loft, I see it being a good loft for yours. On the 6 iron, that is.
Yeah.
But for me, at least while we're doing this, let's use the 120 shaft.
Yeah.
Let's play around with some other heads that I think are applicable for you,
Yeah.
because we might touch upon something you
Yeah.
absolutely love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
No,
then
definitely.
it becomes your choice, don't it? Yeah.
That's great.
So one of the heads that I brought over as a backup to that Srixon, we've got the MP, the 223, the
Yeah.
middle model. Yeah.
I've had the SCs before, the
Yeah.
MP18s. That's what I had the 120s
Yeah,
in.
I think this is some of the older models. They've pretty much put a line under those, you know, the titanium section middle.
Yeah.
Here it's more build a slot into it, similarly to what Ping do on their I230 or what Titleist do with the T150. Yeah, they've sort of taken, you know, that thing of titanium. I actually had a set and I thought it didn't do what Mizuno should do, feel soft and sound soft.
Yeah.
It made it a clicky head, and I felt like it was the less of both worlds rather than the best of both worlds. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But that's worth a trial.
Yep.
Yeah. So 223 here. Just bear with me. Okay. Definitely straight away, compared to your head and the Srixon head, it must have felt decent.
Yeah.
It sounded nice. It's a nice sounding head, but there's definitely that little bit more flight on it.
Okay.
You know, a little bit more launch, a little bit more spin.
See, it felt like it was going to go left, but more than that.
No, yeah, it didn't. Yeah, yeah. And when you consider where you struck it, it's a 137 smash, but look,
At the toe.
reasonably forgiving head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't sound like a toe strike. It sounded like a solid hit.
Heavy.
Fire off some numbers for me. I'm just going to try and pinpoint one or two other heads as a comparison.
Yep.
All right.
So could that be bent to like 90 and then okay, see what we get with that.
Much more slowly through that though, and then clear it open.
I sounded low on the head for once. Yeah.
Definitely.
This is a P790. It's a new one out there. They've slightly slimmed down the profile.
Nice contact, a little bit open face, but good contact. Yeah. I think if it was a case of looking for more flight, that naturally finds a little bit more than the head we were using for that shaft testing. Don't forget, the Srixon's a good head.
Yeah.
I gave it for good reason. It's a nice head that's the same loft as your 6 iron, but it is that territory of what might be a good fit for you as well. I've got 3 heads lined up here. Got the new Callaway Apex CB.
Yeah, they look lovely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Titleist T150, not the 100, but the 150.
Bit more forgiving.
just a hint more forgiving. Same sort of base loft as what you've got. Very similar territory there. And then the Ping I-230. That's the most generously lofted I'm going to give you. But I still think that that's that combination of feel, performance, forgiveness. Yeah?
Yep.
But we'll start with the Callaway, the CB, yeah?
Yeah.
They do the Pro head, the hollow head construction, but then you're a man a little bit more discerning in the feel element, and you said so, your game improvement head or what they gave you, you really didn't come to terms with it.
Yeah.
I want to give you something that's a little bit more good feel, sound, so forth. I don't want to give away something that.
Yeah.
So this one's probably within the range, the one that I want to see you hit. All right.
Lovely.
That's sounded very nice.
Felt nice.
Look at the spin on that. Wow. That's a different number, isn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't expect that. Oh, get better strike than that. My God.
Wow.
That's an amazingly good sounding head. But that's found a whole new ball speed there.
Yeah.
142 smash, nearly 126 ball speed.
Straight out the middle.
Definitely finds more spin, that head. Definitely finds a bit more spin. Interesting start.
Looking over it though, I was a bit scared because it's a lot more compact than the other head.
But then when we come to the Titleist head, it's not gonna look any bigger.
But
that is one heck of a number.
Yeah.
Really? I'll tell you now, the way that club swings, whether it's that eureka moment of finding the perfect combination of balance, and that's a different sort of strike here going now. Yeah?
Yeah.
Look at that. It's most definitely a different sort of flight, and these things can be fine-tuned. The one thing it gives up against, say, the Srixon head and your head is that the spin numbers are stronger, but bear in mind, we don't want it too much the other way. We don't want it sort of super strong spin and then give away any playability in the longer iron. But that is comfortably the most consistent so far. Even with the one that's a little bit more open and spun up a bit. In terms of the strike point, in terms of the sound it made, in terms of the ball speed, that's a very interesting start.
Yeah, it feels lovely.
Yeah. You know, we were talking about that Mizuno head, and now they used to put the titanium badge in them. This is completely the other end of the spectrum, where there's more mass behind that strike point. And it's carryover from the previous model, TCB. It's that more mass behind strike.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of suits you, because the ball speed's gone up, the strike quality's got better. It just seems to be definitely more on that. Yeah?
Going straighter as well. heavy.
Slightly let down.
Yeah.
Hit one more with that. Very, very good. Very, very good. I'll go as far as to say, with a slight fine tune on that in loft and lie terms,
Yep.
that,
If you take that one out, the
yeah,
dispersion's
no,
brilliant, isn't
it was just really very, very, very nice striking. A lovely sound off the, you can see the strike point there, that's lovely. There's something about the way that club moves right there now. In balance, you look a little bit more athletic. I don't know what it is. There's something about the balance of that club and the way that swings and the strike you get from it. If nothing else, it's laid down almost a blueprint for what we do. Yeah?
Yep.
Because it's definitely the most impressive of anything you've done thus far.
Yeah.
With, like I said, a little fine tune on it. Personally, all the hallmark, all the indicators sort of lead towards the head being actually not flatter, a little bit more upright, a hair more upright.
Okay.
By where your swing plane is and where the direction is, a little bit leaky. You think, well, if that was a bit more upright, strike point would get a little bit more central, and then the start point would be a bit further left, and the spin would come down a little bit, and so, but it's in a good place.
Yeah.
At no point have you had to average the ball speed of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice head.
Yeah. Felt lovely. But I just feel like if I went for them, the four iron and the 5 iron,
Yeah.
very.
Yeah. But that's when that pro head kicks in.
Yeah,
You know, they're there to
lofty.
be comboed.
Yeah.
Then you got hollow head construction and more forgiveness and more face performance. So, and the head will be a hair bigger.
Yeah.
So it's not, but the bulk of the set,
Yeah.
based on that 6-9 number,
Yeah.
not to be sniffed at.
No.
Yeah. New Titleist T150.
Right.
Yeah, again, it's just that trust of that move rather than there and flip.
So I've got the 785, which is 2 generations prior to that. And they were a little on the boxy side.
Yeah, there's much more compact, just move through it. Yeah.
I think it'll be fine for
No. Chunky.
Got a little bit out of shape on that one. You sort of lost your height and go a bit this way. There's not many times you've given me a positive angle attack when you've always got a negative one, so you definitely bottomed out early on that.
Yeah, like those are quite.
Not quite pick this one as well as the previous two.
Yeah, it just look like it, but these ones they've made it much cleaner on that heel edge.
Sound a little bit better.
Yeah.
Does that feel heavier to swing? I'm just looking at these, I'm just like, hold on, he's having a harder time squaring this up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're looking at a couple of the better contacts, they've both sort of been more leaky right, and
Yeah.
it's not because of the lie angle there. The Titleist head is actually a little bit more upright, but Yeah, just it's almost like you've lost that ability that you had with the Apex, the ability to square that up as much.
Because that is the same kind of carry number as the old set.
That's a bit more impressive. It's sort of, that number there is sort of how I see in testing what this head does. You compare it, say, to the 100. The 100 will come out initial launch a little bit low with more spin, whereas this, considering the loft is a bit stronger, it tends to launch initially a bit higher, but off of a slightly stronger spin number. Yeah? Okay. It's a good looking golf shot. It's a nice enough ball speed, but that's no faster on that better shot than what you got off that Apex. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that like, is that normal to happen, or just sometimes just play it specific how one
That's what I would say, what to bring on board in moving forward technically. When you get that way on it and the low point is behind the ball all of a sudden, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Those couple of heavy ones, it's just where the low point's a significant amount behind the ball and your margins of errors are them small. We've done it a couple of times here, but that's where it lies. You see what I mean about it sort of being more further right?
Yeah.
This is a nicer direction, and because it's stronger face angle, I think that's part of the reason why it's a little bit longer. But it's a nice comparison. I would still say that Apex head is the one to beat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Ping I230. Where I see this as, say, a disadvantage, it's not, I suppose, a disadvantage, depends on how it performs, but this is the highest lofted head that we're about to try, yeah? Okay. 29.5 base loft on the 6 iron, where the T150 is 27, 28 areas, Srixon's similar, sort of 28, your own 28. Mizuno, I think 28. So a little bit more lofted, but let's just see what happens, yeah? Okay. Strange sort of contact.
Right all the time.
There's definitely something about I think, how much can you put down to the balance. If I was to put the Apex head back on and measure it, and there was just
So that felt like it was going to go straight, that one.
Yeah, it's definitely something about the way that Apex swung for you. Yes, it sounded great on strike. The strike point was beautiful. but it was the most convincing in swing terms when you had that combination. One or two more, but
will do.
leaves us with a choice, really. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just the angle where you're starting to open up and swing. Yeah. Just getting used to that. Yeah. It's just a slight change. It's only a few weeks, but it's just those slight changes that you get there. Exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to.
That probably felt a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I said to you before about keeping an eye on it, and then I give it to you, and then you go after that, it just mentally goes,
Why about kicking your hands? Yeah, through. Yeah, I mean, it's just at the moment, just trying to get your body release and where the hands go to let pop. Okay.
yeah, I also think it just speeds from it.
That's what I expected to happen. That one there. There's the sort of ball speed that you got from Apex.
Yeah.
It's not a dissimilar performance if you compare it with that number there. 17.755. Last one 18.2 and 5.4. Yeah. It then becomes quite subjective. I still think the consistency level, whatever you say about it, the consistency level of that.
Oh, the nice ones as well just felt, yeah, just like you hit him.
The sound of the strike was awesome. Absolutely on the money. I think it's, like I said, the blueprint is how that swung. If I was to build yours, that's how I'd want it to swing. Because it was the gold. It was the golden moment, really, in terms of you finding strike direction, consistency. Yeah.
One more go. Yeah.
If this now is like a 113, then I know I'm going to get close to 160.
I don't know the merits of those grips that you got on those thicker grips and what they weigh.
I do like a mid-size, but they feel very heavy for some reason. I don't know if they are.
The gut feeling, I can't imagine those heads being a light set of heads. Yeah?
Yeah.
The balance you've got on at the moment, at the length you got, if we're going to go shorter, we got more.
Yeah.
We got sort of more viability on the way we can make it swing for you. I'd rather a head be a little bit lighter on paper than a bit heavier. Once you're heavier, you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, that is heavier than yours.
But the head.
The balance
Oh,
of
the
that
balance,
is
okay.
heavier than what you've
Yeah.
got, despite yours being longer.
Longer.
They, like I said, don't know the merits of the weight of those grips. I fancy they're pretty hefty weighted grips.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
Feel it.
I fancy they're heavier than the genuine multi-compound equivalent.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because it will give you a bit more of a highlight. Does this feel right for you, or does it feel? Yeah. You go back to yours, does that feel a little bit easier? And you get a bit more of an understanding. Sure.
Thin.
A little bit low on the head.
Yeah.
Too low on the head.
the only thing you want to do with the other one is
I haven't quite recaptured it here.
Yeah.
okay. The other ones are just learning what parts of it, what distance, which I guess currently.
Ironically, the last handful of shots have been lower on the head than ever before. Normally your tendency would be the high strike point on the head and a bit dead. It's more the sort of low contact on the head. Just lost a fair bit of ball speed there. Because you, like I said, you're averaging about 123, 124 with this first time round.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean that's the what you've been missing basically technique is just having that sort of almost guarantee or you know where it is and then you can just turn and hit.
Yeah, I think that's helped having more weight in the head.
Yeah, for you or where you want to drop it, how you want to feel
Yeah.
it. I mean, it's
That is.
I think that's an okay number considering, quite a predominant toe strike on that one. It wasn't the worst number, but
I'd say you're comfortable just now you've done that, just getting back into this, you know.
going through a phase of probably just leaving it a little bit more open. You didn't do that first time round either. But that in terms of ball speed was a little bit more like it. Something, I don't know what it is. There's something also the way in terms of speed, you seem to find more speed in this combination. You're more sort of 89 average club speed here.
Just got a little bit caught under that.
I know what you said initially from the outset about building yours. I haven't got an issue with it because you gave me some nice. Bear in mind some of the information up here. I was saying, when it was good, it was really good. With a little bit of fine tune.
Another go with mine.
I mean, what you have to bear in mind, yours are coming off those. That's going to feel very long. Yeah. I sense that even if those grips are a bit heavier, I do sense that those heads are of a weight. They can be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was a relatively lightweight on the balance at that length. There's proof in itself that little bit open face, but in terms of the contact, in terms of the ball speed, isn't too shabby, is it?
No.
Yeah. I think it's a bit of a disadvantage for being as long as it is.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit more of the hit and miss element to it. Remember we looked at the strike points.
Yeah.
It was a bit more scattered over the face with its length. But I think they're capable. I mean, I don't know them. Like I said, never knew the merits of it.
Yeah.
It's not a head that we've ever had in testing.
No.
But on face value, I don't think they're in a bad place. They're good sounding heads as well.
Yeah. And I feel like they're
I honestly,
a little bit.
you've got to remember
quite
the
a
shaft.
chunky top line, aren't they? But
Yeah, it's
quite
not probably as pretty as some of the other that's quite a
for a
flat, thickish top line. But I mean, there you can see your speed's back up for having an extra shaft, the length of shaft.
Yeah.
That's part of the impact on ball speed here.
Yeah.
But everything I've seen, you almost got to look at it as the shafts being the investment, getting the length a more comfortable length. Fine tune the loft side of it, the lie side of it, and I think they'll be in a pretty good place. At no point have I said, well, they're hopeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love the look of them. I like the head. I know it's that little bit chunkier, but
Well, it looks a little bit more like the Srixon. The Srixons tend to be a little bit more flat top line, therefore on your eye it looks thicker. Well, actually, if you round that round that top edge over, they look thinner. A lot of it is a bit of a trick on the eye.
Yeah.
If you look at those, you can see the similarity of those two, can't you?
yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to, let's say, the Titleist. If you got a measuring device out and measure the actual width here, there wouldn't be much in it.
No.
Because they round their top edges over, it gives the impression of being thinner. It's where you see it. You said you said you'd fancy using these heads on a fresh build.
Yeah, if possible.
I mean, what I will say is that to a light in a stiff, much lighter, much softer through this region here. That's where the changes in stability turns from what we've got on the other shaft. It's a stronger feeling, but also not harsh with that stronger feeling.
Yeah. I don't go with these.
Nice. Love that start point. Should be a little fade back to target. Nice number. Back to a little bit more on track there, nearer the 123 ball speed again. Yeah. Good bad one.
Bit thin.
Lower on the head, but actually gave you half a decent number out of it. What's your gut feeling?
I was, when I first see these, I just thought Pro for me, but because I thought these would be too not forgiving. I do.
I wouldn't say yours offer masses of forgiveness over those.
No.
These sort of remind me as a design, New Level. We briefly did New Level, and where the heads were forged in China but finished, sort of finished off, milled. Quite nice actually.
Yeah.
But the whole concept, that little slot at the back, they got I wouldn't be surprised, it might have even come out the same factory. But they got that feeling of being like a New Level type of design. Like I said, nothing I've seen tells me that they're poor. I like the sound of the strike off of them, and you haven't given me bad numbers off of them. But if you were to look at that and put those side by side, I wouldn't say what you've got. You can't say that that looks less forgiving than that. In size terms, yours looks a little bit more compact.
Yeah, definitely squattier head on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just the top line really, and the length. This is slightly shorter,
It's
isn't
like, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Your head is slightly shorter than the Apex. The top line, because they roll that top line on the Apex, it comes across a thinner top line. But it is a slightly longer head.
Yeah. More face, isn't there? Definitely.
I mean, what you should really do that might just sway the balance one way or another is put the Pro head on.
Yeah.
Because your argument of what am I going to do long iron wise, am I going to have the confidence in the long iron?
Yeah.
Well, that's where the Pro can be combined, you know, offer that another level of forgiveness and performance.
Yeah.
It'll look similar, it'll blend in well because that's what they're supposed to be there for.
Try that.
And it might just give you,
Yep.
allow you to make that decision. Yeah? You know what I mean? I think you've enjoyed those,
Yeah, no. I
surprisingly.
was very surprised, yeah.
Yeah, but it gives you an opportunity to try this. If you're blown away with this, I can imagine that in a 4-iron or wherever you might want to cross it, you know, cross it over with the other head. But I don't think the look has changed too much there, but you've got a slightly different concept here now.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
That couldn't have felt too great, actually, because that was
No.
quite a strong toe strike. Yeah?
Cool, yeah.
Unless you chuck that swing in on purpose to test the merits of how forgiving it is, but... That sounded nice. That felt a bit better, didn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bizarrely, I mean, suddenly started hitting it out of the toe. Hadn't done that before.
No.
You've had 3 toe strikes out of 4.
Yeah. No, the reason is, so Callaway Apex does more investigation done, and
Do you know what I'd say? I would say I can't see what that's going to give you over and above that other head. I mean, your longest iron here is what? 4 iron. The Apex 4 iron is going to look more forgiving than yours purely on size.
Yeah.
But at no point I'm going, well, he's chucked in a few misses. Has it done better on the miss? Not really.
Not really.
Has it done better on ball speed? No.
No.
It's then really a fight between your one and the standard CB head.
Yeah.
I mean, in cost terms, pretty sure the Modus 120 we can get through Callaway, component form, build it ourselves, obviously, including, with our build of the puring of the shafts and control of swing weight, all the adjustments of loft and lies all done in-house.
Yeah.
But it sort of then narrows the gap. If it's a rebuild on yours, that's pulling yours apart, new set of shafts, the cost of those shafts. It sort of narrows it down a little bit. If it was a shaft we've chosen, that's the cost of that shaft going on top of the cost of a new set of heads. It sort of pushes you more towards the rebuild on yours. So that's part of the consideration here. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I suppose, seeing the price and having a think.
I think the one thing you probably need to address, regardless of what you do elsewhere, is in doing something with the length of your current wedges and also addressing the gap wedge side of things.
Yeah.
Because regardless of what we do, we need something near that 50 mark to get in the bag. That can, dare I say it, I mean, it's tricky. I don't know whether you retrospectively, if you liked those heads, find a 50-degree in that's going to be a little bit trickier.
Yeah, they don't do it.
They don't do it, you see. Whereas then it sort of leads more to the gap wedge of where do we go? They don't do the gap wedge probably to the Tacoma that you got here.
No, they don't.
So
Yeah, because the original set I had with the wedges had a 50,
yeah,
and then
and that's why you made your decision on what you did.
I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
made the decision yet what to do.
yeah. Good old-fashioned 10 and 11. The Monty set that's out on the wall there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when they've done those big Berthas years ago, they had 10s and stuff.
And 11s written
A
on
little bit like what Honmar did.
Yeah.
They didn't have what was called a,
pitching wedge.
or their gap wedge was, their pitching wedge was a 10,
Yeah.
and their gap wedge was 11. But anyway, yeah. So 46, 50, if you went that route.
Yeah. I would prefer a 50 with the set. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. This is the choice you make. If someone said no, I do a lot of chip in, short game with that gap wedge, and then it might be elsewhere. But if you see it more as a full shot club that fits the gap, anywhere between say 12, 15 yards between that and the pitch, then you go that route. I can double check on that shaft, for instance, on the 120. But I'm pretty confident that's available through them. Yeah. Let's just look at these two.
Yep.
Yeah. Heavier, stronger. Haven't got an issue with that.
Yep.
Pretty much more close to the weight that you've got on the Modus 120 anyway. Difference in the balance points. The Modus 120 is that stronger tip, softer middle butt section. Here it's more of an evenly balanced, even flex type of shaft, the 120. These could be refined, rebuilt, let's say. even if it was the same shaft, because I do think the Modus 120 is a better shaft than the Tour 120.
Yeah.
In my view,
Yeah.
that's subjective. I know when I'm chipping with the Modus 120, it gives me a feeling that reminds me of a lighter, more usable feeling with dynamic gold, which is still a great wedge shaft. It's a very good feeling as a wedge shaft. In an ideal world, you'd like to bring these lengths to tie in a little bit more with the rest of the set, because you felt they were a bit short. These weren't heavy at their length, they weren't heavy. It's going to get heavier if you put a longer shaft in. It's where you see these.
Yeah.
We'll test the sole designs and see what they're like in terms of strike point when you're chipping.
Okay.
The way I describe them, I think it's pretty much a similar design on both, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a slightly softer line on the 54 through here. What you've got here is a little bit more definition in.
Yep.
They're similar, but that's slightly more defined, isn't it? A little bit more cutaway on the back edge. Have they been good chipping
Yeah,
wise?
no, I like them.
You like it?
Yeah, really
Yeah?
like 'em. It's just the shafts, they feel too short.
Yeah.
And I just don't like the grips. I just feel like I'm holding the shaft.
What, it's too thin?
Yeah, I just prefer a mid-size.
Yeah,
I
well,
think.
we'll talk about the grip choice and sizing of that, which ties in with what we're doing with the irons. We can talk about that in a second. But
Yeah.
what I want to do, I'm trying to keep it close to that 54. If I pick a head out,
Yep.
to give you the opportunity to try and a Modus 120 as a shaft to go in
Yep.
the wedge,
Okay.
we'll do a test on these as well,
Yeah.
sold in terms of your contact point, and see if it's a good fit for you.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
No worries.
Yeah. That's your 54. Refamiliarise yourself with your own on those, and then I'll introduce this one for us. Yeah.
Off this front mat now.
Yeah, just on the front mat,
Yep.
directly behind the TrackMan. Just realign it for us as well. Just bear with me.
Yep.
Target line is going to be the same. Sounded a little bit crisper, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair bit more spin on it, a lot more contact. I think the spin went up by about 500 revs there, actually. No, let's try 1300. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a little bit more performance on the last couple. Spin-wise, on the fuller shot, you're looking around about 9.7. It's a 100-yard shot for you, that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's about what
So, same loft.
Yep.
I've used a Vokey head.
Yep.
It's a relatively heavy head, I think, on paper to yours. Looking at the two balances of this, it's come up heavier. I like that idea, because if we did lengthen them, and that's a lighter head than that, I've got more ability to build it in relation to what we're doing with the irons, if that makes sense. But that's the Modus 120. It's just a slight change in feel here, yeah?
Yep.
You'll feel the head, I think, a fair bit more. Caught it, let's just say caught it clean.
Yeah.
So-
Okay.
Don't go by that. It's a little bit of a...
Oh, okay.
Track man with the wedges always comes across for me lower as a strike point than it does with other clubs. How much of that is shaft? How much of that is head? I mean, that's quite a change in spin number there.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah. Again, another one a little bit clean on the head. I would say that was more, let's say, skinny. The other one was crisp.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's come out a little bit too low on the head. That was nice.
Yeah. That was the best one.
Yeah. Okay. Now, there's the feeling of the shaft is one subject here.
Yeah.
It's the performance off the head that's another.
Yeah.
Yeah. That probably comes across as a little bit softer shaft than yours.
Yeah.
Agreed?
definitely feel-
Yours feels a little bit more wooden.
Yeah.
That feels like you could... When it comes to the softer shots, that's when that thing takes over as well. Because it feels like there's more ply in the shaft. And it's, you know, like if you were swinging, you know, one of those they use for tempo, really soft shaft. And it sort of builds that ease of grip in the hand and the sort of rhythm of it. That's how I see that shaft as a wedge shaft. That's why I like it myself. Because I don't feel like when I get much stiffer shafts in wedges, I almost feel like I want to grip it tight, which is not a good feeling.
No.
I lose the feel, I lose the timing, I get a bit quick, you know.
Yeah.
But the one difference that is very, very apparent is 9.7 on the spin, same loft, don't forget,
Yeah.
against 10.4. That's quite dramatic, isn't it?
Yeah.
9.7, 10.4, 700 revs different in that setup. I think what I would say, I think that's got to be part of what is the head there.
Yeah.
And it's not like yours are beaten to death. But it just, I don't know, that's a fair bit of difference in spin. Just hit yours.
Oh, sorry.
Hit yours again. Just see, give it the opportunity, because on face value, there's definitely a little bit more. And also, you say consistency on the spin. Between the two, there was 38 revs difference on those two strikes. 38 revs difference. Yeah. Whereas yours was 100. It wasn't terrible, but 133 between the two. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't mind that. I mean, if it was 200 or 300 revs between two similar shots, I'll be a little bit more concerned. But the 30, you know, consistency of spin is golden with the wedge, because consistency of spin is consistency of carry, and that's what wedge is all about. Yeah.
Okay.
Good swing. Nice contact. There you go. It all fell down to strike.
Come up. Yeah.
See if you find that again. Because that's the comparable spin then, yeah?
Yep.
Slightly heavier in a shaft, or?
No, actually, probably very similar, if not a tiny bit lighter. It's a little bit more than bottom end.
Yeah. Yeah, two very similar spin numbers that's more comparable to the Vokey. Yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm happy there now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I was concerned that it was,
Yeah, I just feel like
but those
bit
were
short.
two really, yeah,
and just don't like the grip.
yeah.
But yeah. I
But
feel
in
like
terms
they
of the
perform
feeling of
well.
the shafts, I think what we've got to do here is test the merits on a lie board,
Yep.
hit us some chip shots, see where the strike points are,
Yep.
and then it's a case of doing a similar, not so much testing the bounce on this, it's just on a shorter shot, because you've only hit full shots
Yeah.
there. Hit some shorter shots and
Yeah.
what feels better to chip with,
Yep.
whether you lengthen those slightly, fit the thicker grip, put a Modus 120 in to match
Yeah,
up with the rest of the
definitely.
set.
Prefer those shafts.
Yeah.
Because when I
Alright.
had them in me Mizunos, I just they just felt I don't know, just
Yeah.
smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to arm myself with a lie board.
Yep.
So they're very similar sole designs with similar sort of bounce. So I don't expect there to be much change between the two. But we're going to hit some, what you see as your stock chip shot.
What, half swing?
Yeah, let's just imagine yourself, you're 5 paces off the green,
Yep.
you're 25 paces from the pin, that sort of deal.
Yep.
Yeah? How would you rate your short game if you had to rate it one out of 10?
When I was practicing a lot or playing a lot more, yeah, I'm quite good round the greens. It's quite a strong point of mine, I'd say.
Okay. One more for me.
But when I'm not playing often, yeah, it goes out the window.
Well, that's the thing about
Yeah,
short game.
yeah,
You
you've
need to
got to
constantly
practice,
keep on
yeah.
top of it, work on it. Beautiful. Right. I'm going to bring this one up to the camera actually, because it's always for the purpose of the video. If we so we're looking at the strike point. We've hit 3 shots. You see that okay, James?
You could just bring it this way a bit more. No, just angle it down. Yeah.
And we can see that where we've got a consistent strike point. This is in quite a nice place. We're using the sole nicely. We're not gravitating to the leading edge or the back edge of the club. When they say use bounce, really what it amounts to is if you're using the sole correctly, it's a sliding action.
Yep.
It's not kicking, it's not digging, it slides. Therefore, your margins of error are there. Yeah?
Yep.
Slightly behind, still pick the ball up.
Yep.
Clean strike, pick the ball up. Yeah?
Yep.
So the actual strike point now is quite nice.
Okay.
Yeah? Don't want it across here.
No.
I don't want it right off the back edge or on that knuckle. Yeah?
Yep.
That would only work if it was in sort of fluffy sand. But you can create that through face angle anyway. You open it out, you create the bounce. Yeah? I don't expect to be much change here, but we'll do it nonetheless. If you want to hit similar sort of shot. Good news.
It's very similar.
Yeah, very, very similar strike point. You're not on the knuckle, you're not anywhere near the leading edge. It's the way you want it to be used.
Okay.
So high bounce, that would start moving that back, lesser bounce. But I would say, they're reasonably nice design in terms of offering a little bit of clearance on the angle there. With that relief. I'm sure if you wanted to open that out, you could open that out and it sits quite tight because you've got a lot of relief off that back edge. Yeah?
Yep.
So, usable. And now that you've seen better spin numbers on the cleaner strike, I'm happier with the spin that you get off of them as well. Yeah?
Okay.
So if we're rebuilding yours, we've got an issue with the gap wedge. If we go Apex, then you've got the gap wedge that they make for that set.
Yeah.
Don't base your decision purely on, oh well, I can't do the gap wedge on yours anyway. It just doesn't sit quite as comfortably with you because you haven't got a gap wedge to that set. They're decent shape as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Quite a nice shape.
Yeah.
What do they remind me of? They remind me of a Mura, actually, shape-wise. Very compact, reasonably rounded, quite narrow in the neck there. Yeah. How do we address the gap wedge? I mean, what's your gut feeling? What would you see yourself wanting to do between the two?
I really don't know. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
When you checked the specs, you said that the pitching wedge should have had 45.
Yeah, on their website, pitching wedge should be 45, 7-iron should be 32. So yeah, your normal sort of.
Well, if it's 32, then maybe the loft on that 6-iron isn't far off what they intended, on the basis of 4 degrees between 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't match up your wedges as a gap wedge. I can't match up your iron. But what I can do is potentially recommend a wedge that ties in shape-wise with it. It's quite a compact design.
Yeah, I quite like the squatty head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose once I know the price of what they are going to be, and then to rebuild those, yeah.
But whatever we do, moving forward, if it had 45 loft on it, you would naturally want something around the 50 mark to go in there. Yeah. Unless you leave, I mean, it's still, even if you leave it at 47, there's still another 7 degrees up.
Yeah, no,
7 degrees up. So
I definitely noticed there was a gap between the 9 and the wedge. Carrying that about 125.
I'll measure the loft on that 9-iron, because then that'll tell us to what extent.
The 9 about 1.
Based on your
45.
numbers, this should have, I would hazard a guess, if it's true to form, more 40 degrees of loft here.
Yeah.
You mentioned 32 on the 7,
Yeah.
therefore 36 on the 8, therefore 40 on the
Yeah.
9. A little bit more than that, 41 and a half. I did say I'd rather see, based on the numbers,
Yeah.
I'd rather see a little bit more loft on your 6 iron anyway.
Yeah.
29 loft I see is the best loft.
Yeah.
Then 33, 37, 41, more close there. Depending on where you want to take the pitch in wedge, it can be another 4 degrees, 5 degrees up from that. So they say that you need like 40, anywhere between 45, 46 and a half, 45 and 46.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a conundrum, the gap wedge side of things.
It is. That's the thing.
It is a little bit of a. If you had mainstream equipment, and I could give you,
Yeah.
but they're fairly niche, aren't they?
Yeah, they're direct to consumer only.
I think whatever I show you is going to be tricky to get a perfect shape. That's one route if you wanted a blade wedge.
Yeah.
That Vokey 50. Yeah.
Do you do the Cleveland, the cavity back one?
CB.
Yeah.
I haven't. I've only got the full face version of it, but I don't see why you'd go that route.
Just to tie in with a
But it's
pitching
big.
wedge. Oh, it is big.
It is big.
Oh, is it?
I mean, seriously big.
Oh, right.
Because a guy brought one in the other day,
Yeah.
and we've only got the full face version.
Yeah.
But if you want compact and a
Yeah.
carry over to yours,
okay.
it's not that. It's certainly not that at all. Standard RTX, yeah, more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I didn't realise that.
So you know, if you're looking at that shape, that's a nice shape. Yeah. And finish wise, it would tie in reasonably with yours as well. But it's I mean,
That's where you can start to go that way rather than where you get nicely up and release.
oh, actually, I've got an idea.
Through it down it.
I'm just looking at your sole design there with the blunt leading edge. I've got something a little bit more in that style as well, which is actually a Callaway. Yeah, I'll see if I can find a stronger lofted one. Although this is a raw face, Simon,
Yep.
I do think that might be a little bit closer, in a little bit squarer leading edge, and in sizing. See the sizing?
Yeah, it's very similar.
And you will get that face performance in spin terms for that gap as well. That ties in reasonably well.
Yeah.
Because it's a very modern wedge with a square front line.
Yeah.
A lot of them are rounded and bigger. That's quite compact.
Yeah.
And I see that being quite a nice sort of blend from that, moving into that. That's quite a nice transition as well.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That would.
That in a 50 head. Yeah? You can hit 1 or 2 shots with that if you want, just to see you're happy with the feel of it. But it's a soft feel. I think where that ties in nicely, you've got that best of both worlds in that you've got a very much a spin performance-based head on that,
Yeah.
built in the same fashion as the irons. Yeah?
Okay.
It certainly will be quite a soft feel to
Yeah,
that.
felt nice.
Yeah. Good strike. But you've got to bear in mind here, that might only be half a dozen yards longer than yours, but I didn't have a 50 head. You got a 52 there.
Okay,
Yeah?
yeah.
So you can probably say it's sort of
another
100, 112
Yeah.
into the pitching wedge. Yeah?
Yeah.
That would tie in quite nicely, wouldn't it? Yeah?
Okay.
I think that's a really good fit in size, in shape.
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah, more than the SM9.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to give you something that the transition between what your pitching wedge looks like and your 54 looks like. I don't feel that would ever get in the way of you. Yeah?
Okay.
And you have got quite a nice sort of, you got a nice loft there for chip and run with a fair bit of spin on it as well. Yeah? You're picking up 9.8 on that 52, so I think that'd be a way forward. And then what we've got, it's one route of Apex down to the gap wedge
Yeah.
with that shaft in mind, built the way we said.
Yep.
Yeah? Or rebuild yours, incorporate this wedge,
Yep.
and then the rebuilds on yours with the slightly longer shaft for the wedges.
Yeah.
And then all we got to really do is choose our grip.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay.
I need to make a note of this on pen somewhere.
Yeah, it's a bit of a.
But yeah, it's pretty
complex
straightforward.
one.
It's pretty straightforward stuff. Now, you said you really don't like the smaller grips that are on those wedges.
I just prefer a mid-size because I've got them in my irons, me
Yeah? Just see your hands then.
hybrid.
When we're looking at building the clubs, and it was always control of balance, and I don't know the weight, the merits of those grips, what they come out at, the ones that have gone on them.
Yeah.
If I knew it was a genuine Golf Pride, then I'd know where the weight was
yeah.
on that sizing. So I don't want us to sort of use a lightweight grip, because anything with longer length, the lightweight grip brings the swing weight up and it can get away from us
Yep.
in a hurry. Yeah? That's going to be the lightest grip. That's the multi-compound in a mid-size. Yeah? In an ideal world, I wouldn't want you to use it.
Okay.
I'd rather it a more conventional grip weight, as in Lambkin Crossline mid-size,
Yeah.
or here is Golf Pride's 360 mid-size. You can get that, obviously, the standard Golf Pride, the Golf Pride logo.
Yeah.
And here is a sort of change in it's a polymer grip. It's a tackier, softer feeling. That in a mid-size. That's a Golf Pride CP2 wrap. Yeah. Different feeling,
Yeah.
softer and tackier.
Yeah.
How's that stand with you?
Yeah. I quite like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your hands like when it's hotter?
Yeah. I get a bit sweaty.
Yeah, that's great. You see, our temperature today, ambient temperature, is a good feeling for that, and certainly when it's colder, it's a good feeling. I always ask that question because you play your bulkier competitive golf from
nice
April
weather.
through to October, and when you're playing in hotter temperatures, you've got to take on board what someone's hands are like. If someone said, "I've got dry hands,"
Yeah.
they're the ones that suffer in the cold because their hands are dry or potentially crack, and they want a soft feeling, they want a tackier feeling, and that's where that can come into its own. Whereas the other end of the spectrum, someone's hands that get very hot,
Yeah.
I'd rather people stick to more conventional types of grip. These feel better in those sort of more humid conditions, let's say.
Yeah.
Or even taking it a step further.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a corded version. That's taking it a step further.
Yeah,
That's
just-
in the summer when it's you think, great, I can't let go because of the cord. But then you get that into the colder conditions, it feels very dry and hard.
No, I quite like that.
So you see a lot of pros use cold grips, but they follow the sun, don't they? When do they play in 5 degrees Celsius and, you know, they don't, do they?
No.
They might do in Iceland, the Icelandic golf championships, but yeah. So I would say not necessarily there for an all year round use. Something like one of these, and certainly in weight terms, these two, I think, fit the bill in weight terms, fit the bill in size terms, but also for that all year use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These would be better when I get a bit more sweaty palms.
No.
No.
No, that's what I said.
Ah, right.
The polymer is great in this sort of ambient temperature as we are now, and in cooler conditions. But if you do have slightly clammier, sweatier hands in the height of season, that's where I see you not having the feeling of security as much.
Right.
Yeah. We're only what are we now? 20 degrees here?
Yeah.
Room temperature roughly? Yeah? Got the aircon on. Turn the aircon off, we put the heaters in, and, and then it might not feel the same. That's my gut feeling. It feels great as we are temperature-wise now.
Right.
But if we were much hotter, then I don't think, based on what you said your hands are like, I don't see that being as good a fit.
No. That one, isn't it? Or that one.
Yeah, or, you know, if you wanted just a straightforward tour velvet without that without that pattern on it, the white paint fill, that's your straightforward mid-size. I have to say, in weight terms, the lambkin equivalent of the multi-compound is a little bit heavier. That's quite a nice grip. You get the cooled section here like the multi-compound, but for me, again subjective, that feels really, really nice as a texture on that right hand.
You just knock the spin down slightly. Yeah. But again, you caught it well enough that it still kept enough line on there.
Quite nice, isn't it? It's lambkin's equivalent to the multi-compound, but their base weights are slightly different.
Yeah.
You can get that in a mid-size. There's two versions. There's one with a line feature at the back, or what they call calibrate, or you can get it without. But it's basically the hybrid.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But then looking at 2.3, 270.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Quite like that one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's popular. Straightforward.
Yeah.
Tour Velvet 360 in a mid-size. You can get it as a black or with white paint fill. Some people prefer it. Says it looks a bit smarter in the white.
Yeah. Yeah, I prefer it in the white rather than that. That's
Yeah,
I
that's
prefer that one.
Yeah. Well, why didn't you run with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just see that? See you sit that in your hand. Yeah. Take this hand away. It's a normal grip pressure. You don't want anything more. That's all I will say there.
No.
Right. One layer and that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't afford it to be any bigger than that. Not for the way your fingers are sitting. Yeah. I know you enjoy the slightly thicker feeling. I can take that on board, but technically, you cannot afford it to be any bigger than what it is there.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
I just feel like these, it feels like moulding the shaft. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So, Tour Velvet 360 in a mid-size with one layer.
Yep.
we know where the length's going to be. I'll just do 2 different prices.
Yeah.
One with the Apex, based on the Modus, use of the Modus 120, a rebuild on your 120, incorporating the Callaway gap wedge, and the rebuild on yours.
Yeah.
The one carryover on both of those options is the wedges, the Modus 120 going in at the slightly longer length.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah, that sounds
And
good.
I'll get that all done.
Lovely.
Priced up.
Okie doke. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. No,
Any
it's been
questions?
brilliant. No. No, it's been good. Really good.